Hello, this is the session on decision making. One of the most important things we have to do in life in order to pursue being a good person and happiness for us and all those around us is know how to make decisions. Now, we make hundreds of small decisions every day about what to eat, what to wear, which route to take on our walk. But there are some decisions which we all know can be really life-changing. They're crucial. They're who to partner up with, how to get in or out of a situation, who to dump as a friend, what kind of job we want to do, when to retire, all those kinds of things. Now, Aristotle realised that this whole exercise, decision-making, which he called deliberation, this is the whole period up until you actually make the decision, is so important that it needs minute analysis. And as he did with so many other things, he came up with a list, a set of points that we could follow in order to make the best kind of decision. It's very important as well always to remember what it is we are trying to achieve. It's very easy when you're making decisions to get derailed, go off on irrelevant points, forget what your ultimate intention is. And you need to check that your intention is a positive one, it's an altruistic one, you are trying to do the right thing. So what's the first thing you need to do if you're taking a decision? So let's say I'm wondering whether to divorce my husband because a friend of mine has told me there are rumours that he's playing around. Well, the very, very first thing that you need to do is make sure you actually have a choice. Is divorce available in your society? Is it going to be possible? In fact, it absolutely would be for me if I chose to divorce my husband. The second thing you need to do is to check that your intentions are good. Are you just trying to take revenge on someone, inflict pain, or are you genuinely trying to improve the situation for yourself, your dependents, and those around you? That intentionality, number 2, is really important. The third point is also absolutely essential, and that's don't make it too quickly. We all know in these days of fast media interactions, emails, Twitter, text messages, Facebook, all those kinds of things, how easy it is to act on an emotional impulse without giving proper due deliberation to the decision. So you don't ever want to do that. I've learned all kinds of important lines like, thank you for that, can I get back to you next week? Or that needs 2 or 3 days for me to decide, I'll get back to you in 2 or 3 days. Never let anyone rush you. If they're trying to rush you, they're almost always got an agenda of their own. They're not putting your interests at heart. They want to sell you something. They want to get you into trouble. Always play for time. So I've got a rule, I never answer emails in the evening after I've had even 1 glass of wine. In the old days, we used to, if I wanted to leave my job, I was in a fury, used to go home, write the letter of resignation, put it in an envelope with a stamp, put it by the front door to post the next morning. And the number of times I then had got my emotions out, but just put the letter in the bin. Now, you can't do that if you sent that resignation email. The next step is verify all information. So my friend has said there are rumours that my husband's playing around. Do I act on that? No, I don't. I need to know the facts. That might take some time. I might, even if I had the money, hire a private detective. I don't know. But you don't act on rumour. You ask your husband straight out. You investigate it. You need to know the truth. So in the early 21st century, a huge war was waged on Iraq because we were all told that it had nuclear bombs. It did not. Thousands of soldiers lost their lives on a rumour that turned out to be false. The fifth thing is talk to somebody with expertise. Now, that is not your best friend. You need someone who is disinterested. That's not uninterested. Disinterested means somebody that actually hasn't got a dog in that race. So try and get a counsellor, a priest, anybody to give you advice other than that best friend. My best friend is ratting on my husband. It's because she probably wants to spend more time with me or have more emotional support from me. Your best friend is not the person to talk to about it. It's a disinterested expert. The sixth thing is to consult everybody involved. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to do what they want, but it's important to find out. So if I'm going to leave my husband, it's going to affect my children, it's going to affect our mutual families, it's going to affect our neighbours, it's going to affect a wide circle of friends, it's going to affect our workplaces. People usually have to choose when people split up, like who their loyalties go with. So you at least need to know what the effects are going to be and the responses of all interested parties. Then you need to consider all precedents. So if I leave my husband, I need to think about what happens to me when I go through emotional crises. What happens to him when he goes through my emotional crises? Do I need to take special precautions? And also divorce in general, what happens? And people tend to go completely mad. Sometimes they harm their children. You need to think about the history of divorce, and that will help you think about different outcomes in the future. You think about the past to help you think about the future. So if you know from the past that if you have an emotional breakup, you then have a nervous breakdown and go to pieces, you need to make special arrangements to support yourself, whether finding a friend that you can go and live with. If you know that your husband's likely to fly off the handle and get violent, you may need to take even more serious precautions about finding yourself somewhere to go. Think about all of those, then factor in the possibility of random bad luck. So if I left my husband tomorrow, but I then discovered I was pregnant or had mortal disease, or he had a mortal disease, or one of us had an accident, what would happen? You have to factor that in, because you don't want to be left homeless or in any other kind of situation. You need to have a safety blanket if random bad luck strikes. And then finally ask yourself, if you've got the stamina to stick to it, if I'm going to divorce my husband, it's going to take a couple of years. I need to know that I really have got the emotional thrust to continue it. So your exercise is to think about a decision either you've made in the past or a kind of decision hypothetically you might make in the future, and try and think about it from all those 10 points of view. Good luck.